The Lwandle Migrant Labour Museum is situated in Lwandle, the first township, next to the N2. It actually started sort of quite suddenly because I was actually in Lwandle helping somebody start a creche. And I noticed that they were working on the hostels. There were 26 hostels. And I noticed that they were changing the hostels from two-door hostels to single dwellings. So I wrote to the council and I asked them if they could keep one hostel for historical purposes. And so we started a committee with one of the Rotarians, and there was a young student who joined us. And he was one of the first students to do a course, a museology course and heritage studies, started by UCT, UWC, and Robben Island. And obviously, he became the first curator of the later museum. And we were walking along one day and we noticed that they were building a new community hall. And so I said, great, we can use the old community hall as a museum. And he said, we're going to call the museum the Migrant Labour Museum. And that's how it started.
What is the purpose of the museum?
Well, the hostels, 26 hostels, housed migrant workers. And so this museum tells the history of the migrant workers. The migrant workers were working on the farms, they were working on the roads, and they were working in the harbors, and of course they were working at AECI, at the dynamite factory. The museum gets a grant from the Department of Culture and Sport, and it also gets a grant from Heritage, and obviously it gets grants from, they have to apply to Lotto.
How many feet go through the museum, and would you say it's a success?
Well, if I think about how we started, it's really amazing. We started with an empty hall, and we literally asked 3 photographers in Somerset West to take photographs in Lwandle, and we just put them on the wall, and people came and said, you can't put our photographs on the wall, you haven't paid us. They had no idea what a museum was. And then Bongani Ngajima, who was this young student who became the first curator, he mounted an exhibition called Through the Curtain, and we had a very amateurish exhibition. That was the first exhibition we had, and people slowly realized what a museum was. Now, after 22 years, we have very professional exhibitions, and I mean, really, Bongani was a very good curator, I must say, and we've had many, many well-known curators since then. So I think that one can really say that if the museum has lasted for 22 years, that it is a success. It is a provincial museum now, which is fantastic. And I think it has won many awards. You'll see the awards in the museum. It is the best social museum in the Cape. It's won that award. It's won many awards. So I'm very proud of it.
Are there any plans for the future?
There are plans. Well, they're my plans, my dreams. We do have the history of our migrant labourers, but I would like to see the history of the migrant labourers from the rest of Africa. They come from far, and we have many. And I think the history is interesting. So that I would really like to see. And then I once taught an American exchange student, and her mother came to visit the museum. And when she died, she left me a considerable amount of money for the museum, of course. And we settled on a resource center, a really good resource center. My only condition was that I wanted that resource center to link with African universities. Miami University has been to visit the museum 3 or 4 times. And their main subject is exactly that, is linking different instances. And I know that they are going to help us do just this, link the museum with different universities. So I'm excited about that.
Thank you very much, Charmain. It was lovely to talk to you and very informative.